Hi, I'd like to talk to you about the menopause and the menopause cafes that take place here at the hospital. The menopause for most people starts around the age of 45 to 55 years. Having said that, some people go through the menopause slightly before or slightly after 55. It varies from individual to individual. The menopause is actually when your periods stop. That is classed as the menopause. Anything before that is kind of perimenopausal, where you will get signs and symptoms. It's estimated that 8 in 10 women will experience signs and symptoms of the menopause. And what I'd like to do now is just very briefly talk about some of the symptoms of the menopause. The most common one that people talk to me about are the hot flushes. And sometimes you can see people that get really, really red, and then you get this kind of hot sweat that comes right over from the back of the neck and right over the top of the head, and it's very, very uncomfortable. Linked in with that as well, there's also night sweats, and again, night sweats just really awful. You can wake up and it feels as though the bed's actually wet, and then it's kind of duvet on, duvet off, duvet on, duvet off again, and that's not ideal for sleeping. And very often within the menopause time frame, it's very, very difficult to get a good night's sleep because of all of those things that are going on. Another symptom that sometimes it's not talked about a great deal is the reduction in the libido or sex drive. And again, this can have a massive impact on couples when the sex drive is actually reduced. There are also problems around vaginal dryness and itching, but again, it's almost like, oh, we can't talk about that. Well, in actual fact, we can, because we all go through these things as females. Very often, people say to me, oh, the headaches are horrendous, you know, I can't cope with the headaches. And again, that's not great either. Last month at the Menopause Cafe, we talked about menopause and mood. And about the fluctuations in our mood at the time of menopause, because you can get up and think, oh, it's a great day today, and for example then your partner packs the dishwasher the wrong way and it's like, the dishwasher's packed the wrong way, and these massive mood swings. And again, that's not a great way to carry on, really. Again, there's a lot of things go on around palpitations and racing hearts, and people very often say, oh, I think I'm going to have a heart attack with all of this. So these are just some of the signs and symptoms. A very common one as well is joint pain, which is something that we tend not to think about. We just kind of think, oh, I feel a bit achy today, and you know, a bit stiff and all the rest of it. But again, joint pain can be linked to the menopause, because it's all these things are around the actual drop in estrogen for us as females. In terms of the treatment, I'm going to talk about this very, very briefly, because really what I want you to do is come to the menopause cafes and then you can find out more. I mean, obviously the big one is HRT, and I certainly would not advise or try and persuade in any way with regards to HRT. That's got to be a personal choice between you and your doctor. But what I would say to you is go and find out as much information as you can, because this is about your life and it's about making that choice. Obviously, I know we've talked a little bit there about hot flushes, but it's like, what can you do to help with things like that? Well, it's about wearing cool clothing, not wearing things up in the neck like this, having a cold shower, and not eating lots of spicy foods and drinking caffeine, because again, a massive, massive impact. That's all I'm actually going to say about the signs and symptoms. And I suppose really it's really important that you know where you can actually find the help. And what I would advise is, the menopause cafes have been running for kind of the last few months now, and they have been really successful. And I think I think that people have got a lot of positive information from the cafes. So the next menopause cafe will actually be running at the end of March, on the last Wednesday. You're more than welcome to come along. It's done on Teams, so you can either do Teams in work, Teams on your iPad at home, Teams on your phone. It really doesn't matter. And all you have to do is email into hwwb.admin, and we will actually send you the link for the Menopause Cafe. Then, as I say, the next Menopause Cafe, Mr. Adama will actually be doing a talk with regards to the menopause, signs and symptoms and treatments. And everyone is welcome to come along. More than welcome. Following that, we've got the physiotherapist, who's a specialist in pelvic floor and pelvic floor exercises, and she'll be talking about kind of difficulties with toileting, shall we say, and issues with the bladder. And then the following one, the dietitian will actually be there to talk about diet and the menopause. I want you to know that there are actually books in the library. There's an excellent one by Louise Newsom, who is a GP, and that's a really, really informative book. It's easy to read, and it's the kind of book you can pick up and think, oh, I just need to have a look at that and see the information that's in there. It's also not very expensive either. But as I say, there's lots of information in the library. There's also, you can actually look on different websites, for example, Menopause Matters, which is actually really, really good. And really that's all I want to say, because at the end of the day, we're in this together, and it's about making life easier for us all. And it's something that we go through. So let's share our experiences and see if we can make our life better. Thank you very much for your time.